I am doing a recap analysis. I don't really know what to call this. The Vampire Academy. Right now we're on chapter 2, and I'm going to get into um, the first consistent that's going to be showing up trigger warning of grooming and an inappropriate relationship between an adult and someone under the age of 18. That's going to be between Dimitri Belikov and Rose Hathaway. Okay, so chapter 2, how I'm going to kind of like describe this chapter is I'm kind of going to do it in phases. So we have the plane ride, and then we have the fight. Okay, so chapter 2, the plane ride. What I'm going to say is like part 1 to this chapter. So basically, Lissa and Rose are captured from chapter 1, if you remember. Lissa compelled Rose not to fight because she was not going to be able to win it because Rose could barely walk because she was fed on by Lissa. Dimitri Belikov introduced himself and said that he was going to take the princess back to the academy. I don't know if he specifically says the academy, but I'm not going to look to make sure that that's specifically stated. I'm just saying he's taking him back to the academy. So they get on a plane to go from Portland, Oregon to Montana. I forgot where in Montana specifically. So somewhere in Montana. So Dimitri orders that the both of them are kept separate until they get there because he thinks that if they're alone together, they'll somehow find a way to escape. And Rose is just like, we are in the air. How are we gonna open the door? Like, she doesn't necessarily think, oh, how am I gonna open the door? But she's like, we are in the sky right now. How am I going to escape? You must have more confidence in us. So for the first half of the plane ride, Dimitri is with Lissa, and the second half, Dimitri is with Rose. So while he is with Lissa, what happens is Rose sees Dimitri has these marks on the back of his neck, and basically each of these look like an X, but like lightning bolts. X. And each one of those means that he has felt Shigoi. She does not say what a Shigoi is yet at this point, but and then we see the guardian mark that I think kind of looks like a snake. I didn't write that one down. But the point is we're supposed to see that and go, oh, Dimitri is really accomplished. He is. But that's what we're supposed to get from that. Yeah, that's like the whole thing with the false part. The second part is he is basically like complimenting her and saying like, well, you kind of like you bully Guardian and you kept her alive. That's the plane ride. That's basically the summary of the plane ride. We're gonna get now to the long part of this chapter, which is the fight. The argument that so many of these characters are going to be a part of. So I read this. Okay, so we get to the Academy. What's the Academy's name? I'm so glad you asked. It's Saint Vladimir's Academy. It is a academy in Montana for vampires. We kind of don't get introduced to like a lot of information about these vampires. So I'm gonna give you a little bit, and then the lore that I know is coming, we'll give it to you when it comes. So basically, the days at the academy is actually all nights. So they arrive during the like night, or no, right before the day starts at the academy. So they arrive at night. Something like that. It's complicated. And they're going to go to this headmistress of the hills office. They pass two different quads. They're going to the upper quad, which is basically the Hills dorms, and then opposite of that is the gym, and then you have the Memorials dorms, and opposite of that is the administration office. That's kind of like the layout. We see a few people. We see Aaron, and Aaron is the ex of Lissa. They broke up because they ran away. Rose and Lissa ran away. Why did they run away? It's not stated yet, so I'm not going to know. So, right before we have this big confrontation, we see and meet Victor Dashkov. We are supposed to like Victor. He is also the heir of the monarchy that runs their society. I want to put a little crown on him right now. I'll put the other stickers up after this video. Okay, so we're going to go into a meeting. It's important to note, he is the heir. She calls him uncle. That is because they were distantly related because they are both royal. She is the last of the Dragomirs. Her brother and parents died a couple years prior, and that's the car accident that we saw. It was memory of Lissa's. Yeah, okay, we're gonna get into it. Here are the players. In who is in this confrontation. We have Rose Hathaway, our main character, Lissa Dragomir, her best friend. We have Victor Dashkov, the heir to everything. And then we have the headmistress, because again, she runs a school, and they were coming to her. We have Dimitri Belikov, the person that captured them. And then we also have Alberta. I don't have a picture of her, but she is here. Yes. Okay, those are all our main people. I'm going to basically kind of summarize this fight as well. So, the headmistress is not like Rose. We can get that from like the jump. We will talk about why she doesn't like her in many chapters from now. But the headmistress is like, good, Lissa, you're healed, like you're enrolled, everything's fine. Yeah, Rose, you can leave. You're not welcome, y'all. And now Lissa's like, no. Tries to compel the headmistress into letting her stay there. And then while she's doing this, Victor is like, hey, they had the bond. All the great, I don't know what that was. They had the bond, basically. And all the great guardian, Moroi, like, relationships had the bond. It would be a tragedy to get rid of Rose, especially when she's probably going to be a great guardian. Headmistress is like, how do you know that they have the bond? That is so rare, that hasn't happened, and I think they said centuries, but I'm not looking to see if that's true, because I don't even have my notes, what specific time frame, but she's like, I don't believe you. Dimitri now pipes up, and he's just like, hey, when we were on the plane, they were talking. Like, they clearly had the bond. If you were with them for any increment amount of time, you know they had the bond. Yes, they were communicating during the plane, and he noticed it. Rue. His stance also is there are not a lot of guardians, and there also is not a lot of guardians that are women. So to have a girl who wants to be a guardian be kicked out, that would be a shame because they desperately need guardians. The implication is if she's not a guardian, she will be what is called a blood horde. I'll get into it later. He doesn't say it, but it's implied. Everyone feels the heavy weight of being like, ooh. Right. Rose during this, they put it out of order. I'm kind of just saying like what everyone's like points are. Rose, she's like, where am I gonna go? Right. Lissa, she's like, Rose didn't kidnap me. Like, this was not forced on me. Don't punish Rose, punish her. Headmistress, she's like, I don't care if, basically, paraphrasing, she doesn't care if, like, it was all Lissa's fault. And, like, Lissa kind of, it's implied, she wouldn't have even cared if Lissa compelled or, like, not compelled, like, forced her to do it. It is still Rose's obligation to make sure she does not leave the academy. So she should have at least told a guardian. There are holes in that because of compulsion. Anyways, jumping back, Rose is like, where am I going to go then? Am I going to go to my dad? That's like the vibes of it. She doesn't know who her dad is. So I honestly, I do think a part of her would like that whole punishment for all this would have been simply, oh yeah, you can go finally meet your dad. As long as, you know, Lissa could come. Like, her mind needs to have Lissa there, or she cannot cope. It is a very unhealthy attachment that she has. There's also mention at this point that Rose, her dad is Turkish and her mom is Scottish, and she takes after an appearance of her dad, and her mom has red hair. That is mentioned, like in this kind of conflict. So she's like, where am I gonna go, my dad? Or am I gonna be a blood horde? And everyone's like, what? Don't say that, because she's 17, and basically what this is kind of prostitution. But it's like when they get fed on, and then they are high and they're on drugs, and it is seen as a very bad thing in society. So a 17-year-old asks if that will be her punishment, and everyone at that point kind of calms down, including Headmistress, and Lissa is able to compel her a little bit more, and Rose is able to stay at the academy. But here's the thing. A part of it is Dimitri has to train her. He volunteered for this because she is so behind. So she's going to train before and after classes, and she's also on probation. She can only go to class, only train. That is it. Lissa can't. It is kind of frustrating that he can imply what she said, but as long as this man just didn't say the words, everything's fine. Okay, well, with that, I am going to end the part here. That was chapter 2 of Vampire Academy. I hope that you enjoyed it. Have a good day or night whenever you're watching this, and goodbye.